as bonesmen. They are also told that they are now superior to Earth's human population and use war and suffering to control the planet. Many terms that I believe are really just alternative names of this transformation and its recipients are the reborn, the black flame, those who have risen, the resurrected, assuming God form, self-deification, the black pilgrimage, the oath, the dragon body, the initiated, the vampire, the warlock, the witch, the druid, and of course, the Jedi. This conversion usually happens within large structures like pyramids and on ley lines. The book The Fingerprints of the Gods not only speaks of a more ancient Egypt, but how the pyramids were used to turn men into gods. The Masons and the Illuminati have long used the phoenix in their symbolism. This is because the phoenix is a symbol of death and rebirth. In 1993's Warlock, the Armageddon, this ritual is blatantly revealed as the main character, Kenny Travis, is deliberately killed by his father so that he may be brought back to life, possessing magical powers.
2 days ago, my dad shot me. Dead. And then he brought me back to life, so now I'm like this walking zombie.
Like the phoenix rising from the ashes, the warrior rises from his own death.
Then, his girlfriend and daughter of the town preacher insist on undergoing the same ritual so that she may fight at his side with similar abilities.
I do. I have to be reborn.
There's only one way.
I know. Daddy, you have to help me.
One book that mentions the Jedi and the many names they've had throughout the centuries is called The Return of the Serpents of Wisdom. The book's main focus is the reverence for serpents that exists in each human culture, and how the gods have always been associated with the serpent. Mankind's relationship with the reptile is indeed a strange one. Humans have a natural aversion to reptiles, and yet humans have, since ancient times, venerated the serpent and associated it with wisdom, godly powers, and the gods themselves. Even Jesus said to be as wise as serpents, while every other reference of the serpent in the Bible was unanimously negative. The Return of the Serpents of Wisdom is pretty new agey, so be careful, but the book's cover is quite revealing. You have a body made of fire, receiving energy from two all-seeing eyes inside of pyramids, hovering above with the help of what appears to be the wings of the phoenix. Inside of the transformed man, the caduceus, or twin serpents. A picture truly is worth 1,000 words. But here's another picture that's worth 1,000 words. It's a card from Steve Jackson's card game, Illuminati, the Game of Conspiracy. The card's name is Unmasked, and the caption below reads, "There is a secret of our cabal that even you of the 12th circle have not known until now." Now, to understand the magnitude of this card, you need a bit of context. Take a look at some of the other cards in Steve Jackson's game. This card game, whose final goal is world domination, was created by an admitted magician named Steve Jackson. In 1990, Steve Jackson's company was raided by the Secret Service, and 3 years later, he would create a website hosting company called Illuminati Online. In 1995, the card game was released, and later in 1999, George Bush's presidential campaign website was hosted by Steve Jackson's Illuminati Online. The game has hundreds of cards like this, and now that you have a taste of what those other cards must look like, ask yourself why Steve Jackson has a card for every person, method, technology, and organization the Illuminati have ever used, letting it all hang out with pyramids, all-seeing eyes, and 666 everywhere. And yet this card means seemingly nothing, and yet claims to show one of their cabal's most deepest secrets. That's because it does, my friends. So much so that even in Steve Jackson's shameless card game, he remains vague, so that only those who should know the card's meaning do know the card's meaning. Another movie that talks about the Jedi, and even in the correct context, is The Men Who Stare at Goats. This movie begins with the line, "There's more truth to this movie than you think," and it's right. The movie is about a journalist who picks up the scent of a story involving a disbanded group of psychic warriors who once worked for the army. He eventually comes to learn that the army did in fact attempt to create a unit of psychic soldiers who were capable of doing things such as using telepathy to stop the heart of a goat. This group, called the New Earth Army, was formed under what the military would call Project Jedi, and the individual soldiers were known as Jedi Warriors. According to the movie, a Jedi warrior has super abilities, such as being able to see with a blindfold, seeing extremely distant or hidden objects, and could even walk through walls.
In the 80s, I was trained at Fort Bragg under a secret initiative, code-named Project Jedi. The objective of the project was to create super soldiers.
Super soldier?
A Jedi warrior. He'd know where all the lights were. He could walk through a room, he could tell you how many power outlets there were. It's the Anya chakra, the third eye, the symbol of the Jedi.
The movie got something else right too. The eye in the pyramid truly is the symbol of the Jedi. The 2009 film, The Men Who Stare at Goats, is actually based on a 2003 documentary with the same name. The 2003 documentary, a creation of John Ronson and John Sargent, was itself based on a book written by John Ronson. The documentary details the Army's ambitions to create soldiers with superpowers back in the 1980s. Allegedly, the Army was training soldiers taken from Special Forces squads and teaching them to do things like become invisible, mind reading, moving at incredible speeds, walking through walls, mind control, and astral projection. Eventually, the Army's aspirations would change into the use of mental powers to stop the hearts of goats. While the goat was under close observation, subjects would attempt to project damage into the goats simply by staring at them. These experiments were conducted at Fort Bragg, North Carolina, in a building dubbed Goat Lab. It is said that after 9/11, the Army resumed Project Jedi and resumed experiments involving injuring goats from afar. As stated earlier, Jedis have gone by many names throughout the centuries. A commonly known name for them is vampires. Vampires are beings that have undergone the irreversible ritual of transformation. They have the ability to astral project themselves at will. Their abilities are made possible by the reaching out, so to speak, of their astral bodies. They are capable of seeing spirits and tearing out of their fleshly casing and sending their astral bodies to distant places while their material body lies idle on the floor. This concept is employed in movies like The Matrix. In The Matrix, those who have been irreversibly unplugged return to the computer-generated matrix by plugging in and traveling through that digital world while their material body lies idle in the real world. When plugged into the matrix, those who have been unplugged exhibit incredible strength and abilities. That brings us to Avatar. Avatar was written and directed by James Cameron. James Cameron wrote and directed movies such as Terminator 1 through 3, Titanic, Strange Days, The Abyss, and Aliens. In Avatar, people operate grown-from-scratch bodies called avatars remotely, while their real body lies idle in a large capsule. These avatar bodies are considerably stronger than human bodies and are capable of sensing the world in all the same ways. The movie is about a guy named Jake Sully and takes place in the year 2154. Jake is a handicapped ex-Marine now working for the RDA Corporation. Jake, and many others in the employ of the RDA Corporation, have traveled from Earth to Pandora, which is a moon of a distant planet. The corporation intends on mining a rare and extremely valuable mineral found on Pandora called unobtainium. The natives of Pandora are a primitive, blue-colored people called the Na'vi. The Na'vi have no intention of allowing